Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. Happy Saturday. Hope the weekend's going well so far. Hope it continues to go well. I've actually got to go into work tomorrow, but hey, all is well. I want to talk to you today about leadership and more so towards starting out as a leader. Had a few conversations this week and, got hit up with questions about, how did you start out, Brownback? What's it mean to be a new sergeant? Maybe a new lieutenant. How do you deal with some of those challenges, or what did you find the challenges to be? So to start out, I think the biggest challenge for me was getting organized. I may not have realized it back then, but I realize it now. And and prior to becoming an NCO, I didn't know what right looks like. But again, I didn't know what I didn't know until I went to PLDC. Now it's BLC, and I started getting these books and references and everything to particularly counseling. Okay. And, prior to that, counseling pretty much only been done if it was a bad thing or a negative thing, right? So, back in the day, you get yelled at for sneezing wrong. You get yelled at for going in a building if you didn't give the 5 W's as to why you were there. That's how it was where I came up anyway. Fort Benning, Georgia was very much that way. Hey, what are you doing? You were a turd until you proved otherwise, kind of thing. So get yourself organized, get some counseling templates, your initial counseling template ready, your quarterly counseling template ready. But anytime it's a professional growth type counseling, all right, or a neutral counseling or a happy counseling, leave that plan of action blank, or leave it just in an outline form, like, hey, what's your 5-year plan, your 3-year plan, what's your professional plan, and what's your personal goals too, and let the subordinate or whatever fill that out. Okay, whether you're pen and ink, chicken scratching this counseling, or you doing it on a digital notebook or the computer. Hopefully face to face if at all possible. Maybe virtual nowadays. Who knows? But try to leave that part for them to complete, or you collectively complete it together. Don't have it all filled out. The other thing is getting a leader book together. All right, so there's different versions of leader books. We used to have the old, it resembled like a green book, a binder. One moment. All right, I'm back. Got a leader book here. My old leader book, man. It's probably back from when I was a sergeant, staff sergeant, and you're gonna laugh. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So look at that, man. I got the Infantry Captain Career Course disc in there. Whole risk assessment, risk management card. Okay. Look at that. Army National Guard. Got this little thing too. So yeah, have a leader book, and whether it be a hard copy, I have some kind of condensed hard copy version, or maybe it's a smartphone digital version these days. And so I had tabs in here. You can see administrative data. Okay. Get something going like that. Excel spreadsheet, whatever. And do yourself a favor and include their PT score, their height, weight, as well as their clothing sizes, maybe even their gear sizes. And I'll let you guess why, but I'm going to tell you why. Okay. As a leader, you're going to acquire things. Okay, you're going to become a hoarder at times. All right, and it's going to help you, and it's going to help your troops. And here's how and why. So sometimes you might get around an OCIE or CIF facility, and they may have a dumpster of stuff or a bucket of stuff to give away. Knowing your soldier sizes can be very helpful at that point. Trust me, I know. Okay. And when you talk about leadership, especially at the junior level, the basics are still very important. Very important. Getting your soldiers fed, getting them paid, shelter, getting them sleep. All right, avoiding sleep deprivation. Clothing. Right. It could be that free pair of boots that makes your day and their day. Believe it or not. So I have their sizes. The other thing they came in handy for was uniform changes. We know the Army loves to, switch up uniforms at least about every 10 years, right? So I learned to track their sizes, and then when the supply sergeant would say, hey, get me their sizes, now I think you got to have their DOD ID number on there too, so get that as well. Keep it safeguard, because, I think DOD ID numbers are now, PII, although I thought we left the Social Security number for that reason and went to but whatever. I don't know what happened, but, everything's PII now. I mean, my goodness. I had my social written on my duffel bag back in the day. In fact, I just got done blacking part of that out recently. But, we used to tell everybody our social, and then that became compromised somewhere in the digital world. And now we went to the DOD ID number, which I thought was getting us back into that safeguard mode, but I don't know. Now it's PII. People are encrypting emails and everything else for DOD ID numbers now. I don't know. All right, I digress. So keep a leader book. Keep your clothing on there, clothing sizes, possibly DOD ID numbers, and go from there, man. So get organized. And I'm not the most organized, all right? It takes work. But what that does for you is that sets you up with a foundation of administrative, references and things necessary for going into meetings, getting the bear off your back from higher at times. Platoon sergeant comes around and says, hey, what's Knucklehead's PT score? Oh, 250. Get off my back. Got it. All right. So the other thing is look to be led. Okay? Look to be led. And what that means is I go to the platoon sergeant, or I go to my next hire, usually once in the morning, once in the afternoon, if there's been no meetings, okay, or they haven't called me, and to say, hey, got anything else today? I knocked out everything on the train schedule. We're going to go do afternoon PT now because it's nice out. Got anything? No. Brownback, you're good. Right? Don't be a suck ass. Okay, we used to call it an FSA. I'll let you figure out what the F is for. Don't be that guy. That's that guy that brown noses, He's wearing the, he just got, Spotlight Ranger, always trying to, block or shine over everyone else by, hey, Sergeant, you got anything for us? And it's like, 30 minutes after we had a meeting with the sergeant, or, whatever. Hey, Top, what you got, man? Hey, sir, hey, ma'am, uses it in excess, always that happy-go, sucking up type attitude. Don't do that. You don't need to do that, because you're going to figure out yourself and what you need to do and what you need to be. So that's the other thing. You're new, right? You're still figuring out what works, what doesn't work. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? Yeah, I got strength in PT. Yeah, man, I'm a good runner, but I suck at push-ups. Cool. So you can run the squad, okay? Maybe PFC Joe is good at push-ups. So guess what? You empower PFC Joe to lead in push-ups, right? Okay? There's some food for thought. All right? What else are you good at? Well, I'm a good listener. Cool. That's freaking awesome. So now you're good at listening to PFC Joe as well, okay? Build off those strengths. Figure out what your pitfalls are too, okay? Are you too easy going? Well, I'm never going to smoke a soldier, man. I'm never going to make them do push-ups because I just don't feel that's right. Well, maybe there's times they need to do push-ups. Okay? Give you an example. Specialist rolled up in the office. They'd forgotten their weapon like 3 times that day. I get wind of it on the CSM. Hey, soldier, drop. Right now, no ifs, ands, or buts, drop. Okay? Time for push-ups. Or it's time for some pinching pulls. Pull back on the charging handle. You'll hold your weapon out like this, pinching the front sight post, and you'll hold that for about, 15 seconds or so, whatever you want to do for them so they don't forget their weapon again. All right? Yes, you can take those risks. I'm going to get into regulations here in a minute. Develop an edge to your attitude and your leadership style. If you don't already have it, if it's not just natural to you to be, more of a prick, develop that. It's important. Counter to that, if you're too much a prick, you're not very, sanguine or empathetic, develop that too. All right? Because you're going to have those hard times, those conversations with someone of that type, okay? And always being rigid, hardcore, toe the line. That doesn't work for everyone all the time, okay? I give you an example, man. I was a drill sergeant at Benning. I was leaving long day in the bay. I get this private. They ain't even supposed to come out the front door of the bay. Private opens the front door, drill sergeant in a soft town, right? And I'm like, what? What do you want? Coming out the wrong door. He took a swallow. He's like, I'm going to be a daddy. I'm like, wow. Okay. Well, Private, what do you need now? Am I going to be okay, drill sergeant? I've never done this before. I'm like, yes, Private. You're going to be okay, and we'll talk more tomorrow, if that's okay with you, about that adventure ahead. He said, thanks, drill sergeant. All right, so there's a moment. All right. I could have smoked him. I could have done any number of things, and maybe I should have. Okay. But it was true. He was going to be a daddy. He wasn't bullshitting me. All right. So you talk about a humbling moment, man. Just a humbling moment. Sometimes you got to be humble. But don't be humble to a fault. Not every moment requires that or demands that. Soldiers will bullshit you. I'm going to say that again. Soldiers will bullshit you. Okay? Give you another example of bullshit. So, I had a staff sergeant. Yeah, you guys can tell me anything, man. Really, First Sergeant, you don't mind me complaining? Nope. But if you want a solution, okay, we're going to come up with a solution. Otherwise, it's just complaining, and you need to go do that in the smoke pit to your buddies or outside your buddies. All right. So this cat, man, he couldn't get a DA photo appointment was his excuse to go get promoted to E7. Well, it was literally a bum excuse because I called the DA photo place and they had an opening. So I made an appointment for him. Man, he was shocked. He was shocked. So I called his bluff is what I did. He ended up never going for E7. He told me, he says, First Sergeant, I'm just a complainer. Ah, you're just a complainer. Nice, man. I'll tell you what, man. Keep it out. Keep it away from being around me. All right, and we'll be better off. All right. So you get that, man. You get some bullshitters out there wanting to jerk on you. Another bit of advice: look out for people that complain about their last unit. All right. What goes around comes around. Somebody's going on about, yeah, my last unit screwed me. They bent me over. Everything was my last unit's fault. Somewhere in the middle of that, there's fault with that soldier. Okay, look out for that. All right, look out for that, and don't complain about your last unit, man. Nobody wants to hear your shit unless you're out at the smoking pit or whatever among your buddies. But your leaders don't want to hear it, man. They want to hear where you want to go from here, how you want to make yourself and the Army better. That's what the leaders want to hear. All right. Lead fearlessly and nervously. Lead fearlessly and nervously. Okay? Be fearless, but not full of yourself. All right? There's a difference. Okay? Once you figure out a little bit from your strengths and what you want to be about, how you want to lead your troops, be fearless in that, man. Take pride in that. Okay? Trust your instincts. The hard right is not always popular over the easy left or the easy wrong, whatever you want to call it. Okay, however the Kool-Aid goes. It's not. It's not always popular, man. I've been in rooms where peers and stuff did this, right? But it turned out what I was saying, what I sensed, was the right thing. Was the right thing. So sometimes the right thing is unpopular. Trust your instincts. Believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, not be full of yourself. Okay? Nervously. If you're a little bit nervous and it feels a little bit uncomfortable, it's probably right. It's probably right. I'm telling you. Okay? It's fine, man. That's motivation. That's that internal motivation to test what you're thinking and then to adjust it as necessary. All right? Listen. Be a good listener. I have not always been a good listener. I come from a talkative family, and you're always trying to out-talk each other. Doesn't make you a good listener. The Army's helped me with that, actually, with active listening. Practice active listening. Okay? Go read that book, Win Over Others, Influence Friends, something like that. Go read it. Document. If it's said and not documented, it was never said. Okay? If you want it to mean something later or think it might come back up, document. Counseling, email, something. CYA, cover your ass, right? All right, regulations. I got to ask today, man. So, Sergeant Major, how do you know all the regulations? How do you... I don't know all the regulations. And a good buddy of mine, man, a couple years ago, he said something, and I didn't like it at the time, but I've learned that it was true. He says, Sergeant Major, you're going to learn to trust your instincts and act off your instincts. You're not going to have time to go research every regulation for whatever issue you have in front of you, okay? You're going to largely have to make decisions off your instincts. And some regulation, yes, and there's going to be times where you're going to sit down, but you're going to have to, when soldiers come to you for advice, okay, you have to weigh out the situation, hear all that you can, and make a decision that is as fair and equitable as possible based off your instinctive perception of the story being told. All right? Tie the stories to standards. Tie the stories to standards. That may require some further research. And then getting back to the topic. Regulations, AR 600-20. It skims over, EO, hazing, SHARP, some of the big topics. Look at it. It's kind of a quick read. Go look at that one. AR 623-3 and DAPAM 623-3. Those are for evaluations. All right? It tells you in there that the support form is the rating change responsibility. I'm going to say that one more time. The support form is the rating change responsibility. Okay? The evaluation, unless it's like negative, should be like a surprise to the rated soldier. Okay? It is not a write your own world. Okay? And the way to teach others to write evaluations is to write theirs for them. I'll say that one more time. The way to teach others to write their evaluations is to write theirs for them. Not take a sheet of paper and, hey, Joe, fill out your evaluation today, man. How you been doing, brother? We're still Facebook friends. Cool. Okay? No, that's not leadership. All right? You can pound out 75% of that evaluation in like an hour on your own as that soldier's rater. Okay? Take the meaty bullets of what they did, the great things they did, after you do the admin data. Admin data in the front takes like 30 minutes. Okay, then the second page, you put in the meaty bullets. Then you may consult with them. If you're like Reserve or National Guard, like myself, you probably don't know everything they've done. So you consult with them about that eval. Here's where I'm going, Joe. Anything you'd like to add or change to this? Okay, this is just an idea, just a way, this is the way it was done for me coming up the ranks, okay? And then, you fill in the rest, man. Always put at least 2 bullets per block. And look at their time and grade. If they got a data rank of yesterday, look, man, that successful evaluation is not going to hurt them whatsoever. You don't need to inflate it. Stop inflating evaluations, all right? Talk to your soldiers, man. Talk to your soldiers. Got the question the other day. What do you do about somebody that is down and out, man? Yeah, they haven't said anything about suicide, but you know that you're just. What resources do you refer them to? Well, I talk to them first, man. Let's see what is stressing that soldier. Is there something stressing that soldier? Perhaps. Okay. Talk to your soldiers. Then there's the chaplain. There's mental health, behavioral health. But understand, you start going to those entities, it can become a fit for duty real quick and possible med board. I'm not telling you to not do it. Go get right. Go get right. But maybe it's a simpler fix. Maybe it's financial debt that's got Joe down today. And maybe financial freedom would help with that, okay, or something. Advising them on how to pay things off, how to work to minimize that financial stress upon them, okay? And that's just an example. It could be anything. Maybe they lost a significant other the other day. Maybe their sister's not doing well like mine right now, okay? Army Publishing Directorate, look at that. And the Army Training Network, look at those. You need those resources, okay? Army Publishing Directorate is where you find regulations up to date. Army Training Network is where you find training doctrine up to date, okay? Let's see, counseling leader, but covered it. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to y'all about, was starting out, okay? Make decisions. Be a decisive leader, all right? Your troops are looking for confidence in you for them. Everybody, so we all know, let's see, try to be that person that knows something about everything and everything about something, okay? I think that's a good way to put it right there, all right? Empower others. When you know it's not your strong trait, don't compromise yourself. There's got to be somebody that is strong at that task, and then you enable, you empower, and you help build their confidence. Who cares if I'm a sergeant major? Hey, PFC, get out here and lead us in push-ups, right? I can go sit in the back for a minute. There's a saying, you can only lead from the front. No, it's not true, okay? You can observe from the side, you can observe from the back, and you can pick up a lot of things to fix, a lot of things that are looking right that you can't see from the front, believe it or not, okay? So when you're out there doing land nav, make everybody be point man. Make everyone be point man. Who sucks the most at the compass? Awesome. You're up, batter. Get in the batter box. Go be point man. Because we're only as strong as our weakest link, okay? LSCO, large-scale combat operations. Go look at that. That is what we're going to utilize for near peer. It's to do with replenishment of resources and troops with near peer war. I learned that this week, okay? I'm still studying it. May have more on that later. What else? All right. People, readiness, and modernization. I heard that this week. Those are the new way of saying the priorities that we're after. Get after your people, their readiness, and then force modernization. And as that relates into going into near peer war. All right, have a good day. Cool.